Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting race in the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Tournament. Tonight we have a match between Nightshifter and jkoper. We have two races going back to back here, and it's going to be a very interesting match. And they're about to start. And it looks like they're starting off in World 3. And so for those who are new to this tournament, or this format, in the first race, all of the levels are going to be shuffled among their own world, with the exception of forts. And with certain forts, if a world has more forts than they normally have, then they will end up losing a stage out of their world, and it will end up randomized into another world that ends up with fewer forts than it typically has. And both of them managed to get through the first level, which was 3-6 fairly easily. And right away, Fort 3, Fort 2. Very, very interesting little fort, but not too difficult to pass through. jkoper deciding to go for the power-up and getting a star. And one hit Boom Boom. So that's another change that's going on with this variant of the tournament. Boom Boom's hit points have been randomized. Instead of it being the traditional 3, it could be anywhere from 1 to 5. And they find the pipe to Wendy's castle, however, there is a lock in place. So they're either going to have to beat the other fort, or if there is a hammer available, they can try their luck with that. Hammers may or may not break locks in this first race. And get your 07s out for the Navy. Ooh, jkoper taking a small hit, but he's still going. And a 4-hit Boom Boom. Nightshifter using his Fire Flower available to go to take care of the Fire Brothers early, and jkoper does the same thing. And they get a hammer for the Hammer Brothers, so that's going to be nice later. Nightshifter taking the time to go fight another Hammer Brother, and jkoper doing the same. And it looks like it was only 2 forts, so the pipe to Wendy's is clear. And it's the World 7 airship. Oh no, never mind, that's the World 4, my bad. Alright, Nightshifter gets a fairly easy fire kill on Wendy, and let's see how many hits she's going to take. 1 hit. 2 hits. Ooh, 3 hits, and jkoper's got to be careful, and jkoper hits Wendy and is gonna have to go back. Full 5 hit Wendy. Oof. And second world appears to be World 4, Giant Land. And Nightshifter gets a P-Wing from the Hammer Brother, which could be pretty useful. jkoper dodging the rings from Wendy pretty easily. That was a little bit of a cheap shot. But Koper's out of there. So not too far behind at this point. Nightshifter is in 4-Fort 1, and looks like he is not going to try to pay the toll. Taking a small hit there, but still okay, and getting out of there fairly easily. jkoper using a star to clear through the Hammer Brother faster, which is pretty nice. And Nightshifter getting a temporary time troll with that Hammer Brother, but gets a second hammer, so that's going to be pretty useful later on. And jkoper going the other route through the fort. And we have Donut Fort for the second fort. Always seems to have these two linked together somehow. Oh, Nightshifter got off cycle with Boom Boom, but managed to survive. And jkoper manages to clear out the Boomerang Brother, and gets a P-Wing for his troubles. And we have the World 1 airship at the end of this world. And Iggy is a 4-hit Koopa this time, and quite a bit of a jumpy boy, so they're definitely gonna have to, jkoper's gonna have to be very careful with that. So at the moment, there's only about an airship difference between the two, so definitely plenty of time for jkoper to catch back up. And take your guesses for what the world is going to be next. And it is World 1. And it's actually completely free as well. Nightshifter using the frog suit well, getting a free hit out of it, and jkoper manages to deal with Iggy, so very close race so far. So that rock was actually a change in the randomizer for this tournament. Originally, you could not break that rock with a hammer, but thankfully, our resident tech guru Fred Coughlin managed to change it to where that rock can be broken, which makes this world very easy at some times. Nightshifter having a little bit of trouble, but managing to get the fire kill. Koper's on his way through the World 6 airship now. Ah, good point, Dust. Good point. Cobra is actually the one that originally did that, and Fred added it to our randomizer for us. So, give a shout out to both of them. They've definitely put in some work here. Ooh, and Nightshifter gets a cloud from the most recent Hammer Brother. So now we're going to test and see, and it looks like hammers do not break locks in this seed. So what that means is, for the next race, the hammers are guaranteed to break the locks. So the runners will have to keep that in mind and use that for their routing. And we see the World 1 fort. Question is, will Nightshifter try to see if he can get the item, or will he just pass through it normally? Just skipping through it normally. Not a bad idea. Meanwhile, Koper going through the Hammer Brother as well. And getting his cloud as well, so he's not going to lose too much time in that regard. Oh, and it looks like Koper does not have a second hammer. So he actually does not know right now if hammers will break locks or not. Oh, and Nightshifter manages to take care of Boss Bass in the desert. Definitely a dangerous enemy to worry about. But with P-Speed, with the P-Speed going, he doesn't have to worry about it much at all anymore. And Nightshifter making good use of one of his clouds to skip that level and go straight to the airship, which it looks like it is level... I believe this is the World 3 airship. So once again, Koper only about a one stage behind at the moment. Ooh, and Nightshifter takes a hit from Morton. And it looks like another 5-hit Koopa right here. But Nightshifter manages to get through pretty easily. Meanwhile, Koper dealing with yet another Hammer Brother and getting a P-Wing for it. So let's see what the next world is going to be. I'm going to guess World 7. I want to see some pipe maze going on. Koper not getting the kind of power-up he was hoping for, it looks like. But a star is not too bad either. It gives a little bit of immunity to run straight ahead, especially with these fire nippers. And we are in World 6. So Koper getting through 2-3 without too much trouble, while Nightshifter is currently sitting at 6-2. Ooh, a little bit of a hit from Koper's side, but not too bad. And manages to avoid getting the fresh 5-up. Ah yes, the ice physics are definitely something to be worried about if you're not careful. Ooh, Koper managing to just dodge that bullet bill. Yes, the Koopa, there's, I believe, guaranteed to be at least one Koopa at the very end of 2-3 to make sure that you are, in fact, able to beat the level no matter what. Ooh, Nightshifter making good use of that second cloud. And getting another Hammer Brother taken care of. Unfortunately, the music box is not going to be very useful. But, from how things look, it looks like the pipe should be a relatively easy trek to the castle. And Koper is now coming into World 6 as well. Oh, Nightshifter into World 8 Fort. The Gatekeeper. And Koper is currently sitting through 5 Fort 2. Ooh, and Koper falls into the Ragu. That's a bit of an unfortunate hit. Nightshifter realizing he's not going to make the cycle, so he uses that as an opportunity to get a nice power-up, so that's pretty clever. And the question now is going to be, which of these forts actually sets freedom for the world? Ooh, it looks like it might be a 3-fort world here. And it looks like Nightshifter has the correct fort. So that is going to open up the gap a little bit more, since Koper went to a fort that didn't end up mattering. And Shifter goes through the World 2 airship fairly easily. Unfortunately, not able to get the fire kill as cleanly this time around. And let me just showing off his casual levitation abilities. Koper unfortunately finding out that that pipe does not really do much here. So going for the Hammer Brother instead. And getting the star. So, roughly about a half world behind, it looks like. And now we're into the pipe maze. Ooh, and unfortunately Koper finds the right pipe, but sees that it needs the bridge. And Nightshifter finds his way to the final island, but he does see 2 locks in place, and one of them is required to beat, so it'll be interesting to see what he goes for here. First fort. Goes for the tail and succeeds on having Fort Knox, so very, very good item use right there. And a 5-hit Boom Boom as well. I believe the difference was Nightshifter skipped the first fort in World 6 and ended up just going through the pipes to check the others. So, and he also clouded a level to skip and get into the main area as well, so that saved a good bit of time. Now, Koper is going through the Gatekeeper Fort now, so... And he makes the door cycle, which is very impressive. And Nightshifter uses a P-Wing, and it's Piranha Fort. So Piranha Fort required this time. And it looks like Koper may have figured out the right fort, and Nightshifter is dealing with some dangerous projectiles here. But he manages to get through. He gets through the most dangerous part of it. Meanwhile, Koper is getting close to finishing the World 2 airship. So once again, only about a half a world behind, so not terrible. There is definitely room to catch up still. And Koper manages to take care of Lemmy. And Nightshifter is back on track. So, and it looks like the anchor randomized into a leaf this time. So fairly useful, but not game-breaking. So an anchor in the vanilla game, an anchor is used to keep an airship in place in case you lose on it. However, because the airships do not move, the randomizer changes it to a random item, except for a hammer. And in this case, it turned out to be a Tanuki leaf. And Koper going for an interesting strategy. He's going to play through 7-2 now, even though the lock hasn't been broken yet. And Nightshifter manages to avoid the sun and get out of there. And using the music box to send the plant to Dreamland, which is probably not a bad idea. And we have the World 7 airship here. Unfortunately, the power-up was only a star, but it does give a little bit of safety in clearing through this area a little bit faster. And it looks like Koper's taking a moment to ponder the situation. Oh, and Ludwig is heavy. But only 3 hits, so not too bad. And Koper goes into Fort Knox. Unfortunately, no tail, so he will have to go through the 30 seconds or so time sink, and it's going to still end up with him not having the right fort, which is going to be disappointing. Yeah, unfortunately, just by basic logic, this would be a fort that nobody would really skip, because it would make sense to try it since it's so close. Unfortunately, that is going to cost him a little bit of time. And Nightshifter has yet another cloud available, which I would not be surprised if he used it in the level after this one. And Koper manages to clear out Boom Boom without taking a hit, so that's nice. Unfortunately, Koper is about to learn the hard way that that was not the right fort. Danny, Nightshifter is currently 3-3, and jkoper is actually 2-4. So this is one that was a tear down. Nightshifter manages to get into the sky without too much trouble. Now, Koper is going to have to figure out how to get to the other fort in order to unlock the world, the final area. Alright, Nightshifter gets out of 5-7 and also manages to avoid the fresh 5-up. Meanwhile, Koper is still looking, trying to find the right way out. And Nightshifter takes a hit to 5-5, and with a very nasty enemy set right there. And he's deciding to use his P-Wing, and honestly, it's not a bad idea given how dangerous those can be. Meanwhile, jkoper manages to find the correct fort finally, and unfortunately loses his Tanuki suit, but he is managing to get through a lot of the dangerous part of this area. Unfortunately, the Tunnel of Hate is not being very kind to him here. He's just opting to take a hit to skip through it faster. And Nightshifter is off to the fort, or to the airship, which is the World 5 airship. Alright, and Nightshifter is out and heading into World 8. So everybody, how many bridges will Bowser's Keep have? I'm going to personally guess 2 bridges. And Koper skipping by the Piranha plant, which is not a bad idea once again. And right off the bat, we see a fort that is required. It is 6 Fort 1, but no locks yet. So 4 bridge is still possible. And Nightshifter taking the damage boost route. Koper managing to get through the airship fairly nicely as well. Ooh, and Nightshifter gets a star at the very end, so he'll be able to get a bro, or the upside down orb. Alright, so a little more than a world difference behind, but we have seen stranger things. World 8 is known as the Great Equalizer for a reason. Alright, we see 1 lock. And get your 07s out for the Air Force. And Danny has a good point. The tank on the first screen might potentially be another fort. We do not know for sure yet. And if it ends up an important one, that can make a difference as well. One more Boom Boom has been taken down. And Koper getting through 5-1 fairly easily. And we don't see any more locks here, so there is a very good chance it could... Oh my goodness, there is no bridges. Bowser's Castle is free. And it's just a hand stage, so let's see what Nightshifter gets here. A music box, so not very useful here. But Nightshifter is on his way to storm the castle. And Koper manages to get through his stage without too much trouble either. Nightshifter having a little bit of trouble with the every person clip, but manages to pull it off. Gave it a single try for the clip, and decided not to waste too much time with that. Oh, that was very close and very dangerous with the fireball. And the troll laser does not hit him. So now he's into the final fight with Bowser, and unlike normal playthroughs, Bowser's hitbox does include his feet, so you have to be very careful here. And Nightshifter gets the hit, so get your GGs out for Nightshifter. And Nightshifter finishes with an official time of 30 minutes and 28 seconds. Very well done. And jkoper, it looks like, is going to wait out the ride. Now, the thing about this is time does still play a part with bracket seating. So I can imagine jkoper sticking through to the end of this in order to keep his times a little more consistent. And jkoper gets the upside down orb as well. And jkoper going through the Air Force now himself. And jkoper manages to get through and takes care of Boom Boom. So while it wasn't... Okay, so the World 8 itself had no bridges, but it wasn't necessarily free. There was still the matter of playing through 2 of the forts in order to progress, in order to get the path clear. And jkoper managing the... jkoper flying through the hand stage as well. And jkoper is into the final castle, so assuming everything goes well, he should be out and done in just about a minute or so. Now it's time for jkoper to give Bowser the business. And for those who are who don't notice, those rotodiscs are in fact moving at a random they are moving at a random pattern, or a different pattern than normal. You definitely do not want to just blindly jump up there like normal, because you will end up usually getting hit, and I have learned that mistake myself a few times. And jkoper does take a hit. Oh, double troll laser, and he still dodges it. So now he's going to have to go a little bit of the slower route here. And like I said, Bowser's hitbox does now include his feet, so we can't just cheese it and duck under him. And jkoper's just about done. One more jump and he should be clear. He lost his jump momentum from the fireball and went with him. Oh, that is heartbreaking. And jkoper is going with the meme of the frog suit just for fun. And oh man. That is probably the most heartbreaking finish I have seen in a race yet. Unfortunately for jkoper, he's not going to be able to do the clip as Frog Mario. Oh, those fireballs very nearly took him down. And this is a dangerous part about having the frog suit. You can overjump the donuts, and it can be very, very dangerous. Bring it home, jkoper. We've got it. You've got it. There we go. Ooh, he managed to dodge that fireball. That was scary. And the double laser again. Interesting. Alright. Just a few more jumps and jkoper should have this clear. That fireball was definitely scary right there. Alright, one more time. There we go! Now he's got it. Get your GGs out, everybody. A well-fought fight against Bowser, and jkoper finishes with an official time of 37:33. Wow, that was a very intense end right there. So, we're going to give our runners a few moments to recover, to de-stress, and also set up for the next race. So stay tuned, we will be back in just a few minutes. Alright, and we are back. Race 2 is just about to begin. So, this one, they are going to have the levels completely shifted around, which also means that there are going to be potential beta stages in here as well. And because the first race had locks, hammers unable to break locks, they will be able to do so this time, and the players are aware of that. And now we're off. And starting off with World 3, and what looks like a very slow start to that world as well. And starting with 7-4. And the first power-up was only a star, which... not the most useful, but it could have helped. It could help a little bit early on. Nightshifter and jkoper are both handling the Gelectros fairly nicely. Ooh, and jkoper taking a small hit, but getting out. So, very slight lead at the moment, but not too bad. Only a second or so difference. And we are in 5-3. Nightshifter managing to get through the enemies without too much trouble. jkoper not far behind. And actually, they're pretty much right. They're pretty much, almost in sync now. Ooh, and Nightshifter somehow manages to dodge that fireball. Very nice. And unfortunately, immediately gets hit by the next one. And now we have a hand stage to go through. Ooh, Nightshifter managing to get the power up and not get hit by the cheeps, which is nice. And the hands provide a cloud. So that's very good intel for two reasons. Number one, that cloud can be very useful. And number two, that means that the other two hand stages will also give clouds. And unfortunately for jkoper, the next level is 7-1, and with a tail, it is very difficult to get that clip. So it looks like he's going to try to play through the level normally. And Nightshifter manages to get the clip fairly quickly, so very nice there. Unfortunately, that does mean for jkoper that Nightshifter has taken the lead once again. And here is our first of the beta stages we will see. And it's a fairly simple beta stage. Just swim up the waterfalls and you're done. Oh, jkoper's having a little bit of trouble here. He needs to let go of that. I was gonna say he needs to let go of that shell before he dies. Alright, and Nightshifter manages to take care of the Boomerang Bros and gets a star. jkoper managing to utilize that little strat is actually pretty nice. And Honestly, even though the time loss at the moment is a little bad, there is still potential to catch up and it not be that problematic. And we see the fort, we see the path to Wendy, and it does have a lock, so unfortunately it doesn't look like Nightshifter has a hammer just yet, so he will have to go fort hunting for this one. And we have 6 Fort 1. And Nightshifter misjudged the amount of time he had for the damage boost. So the reason that did not work is because when you go from Big Mario to Small Mario, the amount of time you have for invincibility is only about half the amount of time you would have going from Big Power Up to Big Power Up. And unfortunately, that did cause a little bit of trouble on his end. And jkoper has to be very careful with this hammer brother. And takes a hammer to the face, unfortunately. And jkoper manages to clear out the hammer brother and gets his P-Wing. Meanwhile, Nightshifter gets a leaf, but is short the jump and ends up losing the leaf immediately. And a 5-hit boom boom to finish it off as well. Oh, definitely. Anytime you see a Hammer Brother stage with water at the bottom, it is just awful dealing with that as Small Mario. The worst, especially, is when they have the Fire Brothers. All right, Nightshifter is through to the airship, and it is the World 1 airship. Hopefully, Wendy will not be too much trouble here. And only 2 hits, so not that bad. So what world are we going to see next, everyone? I see a guess of World 6. I'm going to guess World 1. And jkoper managing to clear through the base part of the airship, not too bad. World 6. Not too bad, and jkoper manages to handle Wendy without a trouble either. And Nightshifter has to deal with 6-1 with an angry sun. And it looks like World 6 might be a bit of a longer world as well. We'll have to take another look once the map opens up here. Yeah, it looks like it might potentially be a bit more of a bigger map here. And Nightshifter finds the dreaded 7-5 and immediately lets Boss Bass go nom. I do not blame him whatsoever for that. And he's opting to go behind door number 2, which is another Boss Bass, but one of the beta stages. I believe this might be a 7-2 beta? But definitely a much easier stage to deal with as opposed to 7-5, especially with Boss Bass at the bottom. And jkoper manages to hit the sun fairly nicely, which is also nice. And immediately goes straight to the lost level without knowing what the other route would be. So jkoper actually manages to catch up a fair amount of time, and oh, he just got nommed. And he's about to learn a very, very hard lesson in brutality. And that's the second nom on jkoper's side. Nightshifter's gonna check the pipe, see where this leads. Potentially a good pipe, and unfortunately Koper gets hit again. Nightshifter currently in 6-5 and has easy access to a leaf. Those Paragoombas are definitely a problem to deal with, and you have to be very careful with them. But Paragoomba... Oh, Nightshifter actually managed to dodge the Micro Goomba very nicely. That was scary, and Koper manages to get through the baited level, so thankfully he's still in this race. He's not far off. And oh my goodness, that is a... Once again, Fire Bros with water as Small Mario is awful. And Nightshifter sees... I believe Nightshifter just saw that he has to deal with the fort, which is a little unfortunate. But it does open the door for Koper to potentially catch up a little more. Ooh, and Koper's actually taking advantage of the Mushroom House. So one of the changes in the randomizer that was made is the Mushroom Houses actually will not disappear when used. So depending on what you find, you might be interested in utilizing the house a couple of times to bulk up some items. And Nightshifter unfortunately takes a death and ends up with a mini marathon as well. And there we go. Koper manages to deal with his Hammer Brother. Nightshifter handles his. And for the most part, they're pretty much neck and neck at this point. Koper... Ooh! Nightshifter accidentally takes a Dry Bones kick to the face. And Koper takes another nom at the hands of 6-5. And Koper has to be very careful because he's on his last life. So this can be very dangerous for him. Meanwhile, Nightshifter gets a star and is currently going through World 2's airship, or World 2's fort. And has to be very careful as well. Ooh, but a one-hit Boom Boom there. And Koper is going up and manages to not get hit by manages to take out the Micro Goomba before it becomes a problem. And Nightshifter handles the Hammer Brothers yet again without too much trouble. Now, I will say, if I am Koper, I would definitely see about potentially getting more, getting 3 stars just to get some extra lives. And it looks like Nightshifter is having a little bit of trouble, but manages to get to the castle, and Koper is not very far behind at this point. Once Koper gets through this fort, he will basically be caught up. So, not too much of a gap to deal with here. Ah, controller problem. Okay, so it's controller problems. That's a little concerning. Hopefully the problem is resolved, though. Ooh, and Lemmy only has 1 hit. And Koper took a very dangerous damage boost strat right there to speed up the trip. Alright, and what's the next stage? What's the next world we're expecting, everyone? And Unfortunately, it looks like there's a bit more trouble going on with the controller settings. And we're in World 5. And the first stage is World 1-3, so it'll be interesting to see if Nightshifter decides to go for the hidden item. It is early enough that I would not be surprised if he does go for it. With that nipper, though, I'm not entirely sure if that'd be a good idea. Oh, he manages to actually avoid it, though. I'm surprised. And jkoper might have the off-screen wand grab. Oh, unfortunately, jkoper was just a bit off from getting the wand grab, the off-screen grab. And unfortunately for Nightshifter, the item was only a star, which can be useful, but it's not necessarily worth the time loss. Now the question for jkoper is he going to just take the death and reset his lives? Or is he going to play normally? And it looks like he's going to opt to take just go normally. And it looks like jkoper's also going to take the item as well. And Nightshifter is currently climbing up the tower. Unfortunately, they have to go up the slow way. Oh, I did not notice that jkoper has a hammer suit. I am not entirely sure where he managed to get that. Now I wonder if Nightshifter has one as well. He does. Oh, it was a letter item. Okay. Ooh, and Boss Bass at the very end of the tower. That would be a very nasty surprise if you got hit by that. Unfortunately, there are no tower. It looks like they still do not have a hammer, so knowing the hammers would break the locks is not helping them yet. And Nightshifter is currently in 1-6, and yeah, probably a good idea to just go the slow route here. Oh! And unfortunately, he was just a little short with that jump, so he's going to have to play through the level again. And that gives jkoper a little more time to catch up here. And unfortunately for Nightshifter, there is no tail, so he can't just fly over it. And just like that, jkoper is back in the race. And in fact, jkoper with the tail gives him a chance to actually catch up a good bit more time here as well. Nightshifter opting to go for the Hammer Brother and get another item. And it's only a star, so not very useful here. But it is still early in the seed, so there is still hope here. Ooh, and Nightshifter and jkoper both go into Fort Knox, and jkoper has a tail still, so that actually gives him an advantage here. And he's got a lead. He's got the lead back. He has a lead, but not the lead just yet. That being said, this is a very good race. And jkoper is taking the time to catch the other Hammer Brother, which might actually put them more or less back on even footing here. And jkoper is opting to play the level. And Nightshifter opts to cloud it instead, so Nightshifter takes the lead right back. This is a very tight race right here. Now, this gives Nightshifter back the lead at the moment. However, it is a short level, and this also means that jkoper now has an extra cloud to work with in the future compared to Nightshifter. So this is very close. Alright, Nightshifter is out of there now. And jkoper does take another hit, but and he's going back for the power-up, which is not a bad idea because he wasn't too far off. And everyone get your commands out because we have a wild Tanuki appearing. And let's see what the next world turns out to be. World 7, so the pipe maze. This can definitely act as a good equalizer here. And Nightshifter runs straight into World 1 fort, which means that this fort is not going to be required. Because of how the logic works, it does not have to be beaten. It cannot be the fort to require progression. So it looks like Nightshifter's taking the death to get out of it. And jkoper is just about to get in. And Nightshifter finds a dead end there, so this may still depending on how things go, that might be the lock that one fort goes into. So now it's just a matter of everyone figuring out where they need to go. And Nightshifter finds the island with the fort. The question is that fort going to be required? And the answer might honestly be no, unless there is another fort and lock or bridge found in World 7. And there isn't, so there's a good chance that they can find a way to the final island without a problem. And yeah, there's no hammers that have been found just yet. And it looks like the anchor this time is a frog suit, and Nightshifter has found his way to the Air Force. And yeah, from what we've seen so far, it looks like it might very well be that pipe. It may very well be that lock behind that pipe, or the pipe behind that lock. So if that's the case, Nightshifter is almost assuredly on the right fort. And jkoper, recognizing the implications of that fort, immediately takes the 100 coin fine and starts traveling to find the other way. jkoper finds the room with the view, and he sees that the final island is in fact clear, so he just needs to find his way to that pipe. And it honestly looks like they might be a little bit lost. But I think Nightshifter's on the right track now. Not quite, but he does know that it is free now. And jkoper is now on the Air Force as well, so once he gets this complete, they're basically back to being on even footing, just trying to figure out which pipe is where. Alright, and Nightshifter found it and is opting to Cloud, which is actually a very good idea because that means he doesn't have to worry about that level anymore. So Koper is not too far behind, he just needs to find the right pipe to get there. And another boss pass in. Ooh! Nightshifter clips into the note block and manages to save himself. And after all of that, now we find the hammer. Alright, and Nightshifter is now going into the World 2 airship. And Koper manages to find his way there. And it looks like it's 6-4 that Nightshifter had skipped, which I honestly feel like if Koper has a Cloud still, he would be better off using it here. But he's still not too far behind, and again, with 2 Clouds available, I believe. Ooh, that was a bad hit, and that was a game over, too. But that's not that bad, because the fort still is broken and stays broken, so now Koper just has to find his way back to it. And Nightshifter manages to get out of the pipe maze and is now in World 4. And Nightshifter's inventory is looking a little bit bare at this point. The hammer, you definitely want to keep the Kingslayer and a star for the very end, but the rest of it is going to be a little bit tricky. Alright, Koper is going through 6-4 again and handling it fairly well again. Just a matter of making sure we end through... he doesn't get hit by that Goomba again. Yes, Jade, we have actually seen World 3. That was the very first world with a 5-stage route required. Ooh, and Nightshifter finds Piranha Fort. Ooh, and I have no idea how he managed to dodge that little, hot foot. This is definitely a very, very dangerous Piranha Fort here with all of these fire spitters. Alright, and Koper found his way out, so all he has to do now is get through, and Nightshifter takes a death. Ooh. So that opens the door for Koper to catch back up yet again. And Koper has the hammer as well, so that'll be very helpful for later. Potentially. We have not seen World 1 yet, so there is hope that that hammer can turn out to be useful there. We have... let's see, I don't believe we've seen World 2. So, yeah, World 1 and World 2 have not been seen, so there is still hope for the hammer to be useful. And he's... okay, Nightshifter's managing to get through. He takes a hit on the Disco Waffle, but he's managing to clear through. So as long as he doesn't take a death from Boom Boom, he should be okay here. Ooh, that was very dangerous and very close. Alright, so Koper is currently only about 2 stages behind, but definitely has potential to catch back up here. And Nightshifter opting to go for a couple more items, it seems. Unfortunately, that only ended up being a music box, so not very helpful in this case. Ooh, careful. And that Hammer Brother just took him out. And unfortunately, he's in a very bad position because that Hammer Brother is going to stay stuck on him. So he has to be very careful here. Alright, he's out, and unfortunately it was only a mushroom, But at this point, I'm pretty sure Shifter will take anything at this point in the game. And Koper is currently in the middle of Piranha Fort, so he's, once again, very close behind. And Nightshifter is going through the World 6 airship. And Koper just opts to take the hit through the Tunnel of Hate. And it looks like Iggy was only 2 hits, but also heavy, so he danger averted right there. And Koper is out through the first part of the Piranha Fort. So if Koper chooses to skip dealing with the Hammer Brothers, he can catch up a fair amount of time here. Alright, so World 1 or World 2? Which are we going to see next? World 1. And unfortunately, unless they have 2 hammers, this is not going to be a free world. And Nightshifter is in 5 Fort 1. And once again, the shortened iframes do not help him out here, and he takes a game over. However, it wasn't a significant loss of time because of that. And Koper is currently through the airship now, so assuming he does not take a hit and lose his life here, he will be very close. He will be caught up fairly easily here. And Nightshifter is on to Boom Boom. Oh, and unfortunately, that Nightshifter is choosing to outright skip the maze and just take the last few world levels instead. Which, admittedly, I'm not gonna fault him for that. Ooh, that Fire Bro almost took him down, though. Alright, and Koper... If Koper actually chooses to go with the hammer, he can actually catch up a lot of time here. And Nightshifter finds World 3 Fort 2. And Koper is back to being small. He's going to have to be very careful here. And Nightshifter manages to get to Boom Boom. Let's see how that fares. And it's going to be a 5-hit Boom Boom there. And simultaneous Boom Booms right here. And Nightshifter is just outright skipping the Hammer Brother as well. And Koper is choosing... Oh, Koper did a good move there! Double Cloud and the hammer, and he's able to catch right back up. Very nicely done. So now he's only 1 airship behind, so the gap has lessened considerably here. In fact, he's only about a half airship behind now. And Koper manages to take care of Larry. And okay, so it looks like this. For a second, I thought Nightshifter was about to try the Jesus clip. So it looks like they might be able to beat this. If they beat this fort, they might be able to skip. They'll be able to skip a stage at the very least. Unfortunately, with no extra hammer, they have to play the fort, and there's not going to be a way to break that rock, it looks like. But still, they are still super close. Oh! So that tells us there were 2 forts in this world. Very interesting. Unfortunately, that also means that this level ends up required, and the pipes don't do anything, but very interesting. I'm curious to see what this end of the map is going to look like. So, the quote-unquote Jesus clip is from World 5 Fort 2. If you make a running jump into the very top corner of that first wall, you can actually clip through and go straight to Boom Boom. The problem is, if you don't get it, you die, because you fall straight into the lava. It is a very, very high risk, high return type of move. And Nightshifter finds the ice fort in the desert. And Koper got a hammer. Wait a minute. Koper can actually catch a lot of time up right here. Oh my goodness, Koper has the lead again. This race has been insane. This is what, like the 4th lead change in this race? And Vanilla Pyramid Space, too. And Nightshifter finds the hammer just a little too late, but still able to make good use of it in terms of catching up and getting back to being super close. Ooh, Koper mistimed that jump a little bit, but he's out. And he's about to go into the castle. And he's got plenty of items to help him out as well. Whereas Nightshifter, I believe, only has the Kingslayer left. And Koper has another star. Probably not the power-up they were hoping for. But they're in the same fort. They're in the same airship at the same time. This lead, the gap between these two is insanely small. Four-hit Wharton. Alright, so the question now becomes, again, how many bridges are we going to see in Bowser's Keep? I'm going to say 2 bridges once again. This is gonna be insanely close. So there's... Okay, so we see a lock and 2 forts on the front screen. So... And there's the second one, so... 4 bridges is dead, 3 bridges is dead. And Nightshifter is opting to play the Donut Fort. And jkoper is checking pipes to see where everything leads. And unfortunately, it looks like a couple of the forts might be required just to get their way to Bowser. And jkoper is... Okay, so jkoper is in 4 Fort 1. Nightshifter just finished 4 Fort 2. And we see that lock is still in place, so it doesn't look like that made the difference. Ooh, and jkoper's about to get another bro. This is going to be a very interesting World 8 here. There we go, and it's 2 bridges. So, jkoper found the way out. Now he just has to figure out which forts are actually going to achieve it. And yeah, it looks like they might actually have to play all 4 forts in order to get through. And jkoper manages to find 3 Fort 1, and thankfully for their sakes, it ended up being the one that it ended up being the tank that wasn't at the very end of the hallway. Because otherwise they would have had to play through 3 levels on top of the fort. Nightshifter has managed to find the way, and now he just needs to find out what the last fort is going to be. And jkoper finds these super tanks. This is going to be a very interesting ending here. And jkoper is not going to go back to the valley yet, so I think so. Assuming everything pans out correctly, jkoper might have the edge here. But it's still once again, it is going to depend very heavily on how they play Bowser's Castle, though. We're just gonna have to wait. Honestly, the best play is gonna be to wait and see who gets into the valley first. And Nightshifter has the lead yet again. This is very, very interesting. This is insanely close here. Oh, Nightshifter has a good idea. Using that allows him to skip straight down into it and save time, a little bit of time. That being said, Shifter only has the hammer suit, so if he takes a bad hit, ooh, he dodges the lasers. This is going to be very close here. If Nightshifter takes a hit, there's a very solid chance that jkoper takes it here. Oh, jkoper takes a lands bad, but manages. He doesn't recover. He's gonna have to take the lower route now. And he's lost his hammer suit. Oh, and he dies! Oh, that is heartbreaking. And now jkoper has the lead and his hammer suit still. Oh, and no troll hammer, or no troll laser. And he has taken Bowser down. Wow, what a finish. Get your GGs out in the chat, everyone. jkoper finishes with an official time of 46 minutes and 40 seconds. And Nightshifter takes another hit with the fireball, unfortunately. See, this is the downside here, is the fact that Nightshifter has nothing to help him. But he's also, but you know what? Props for him continuing and trying. This castle can be really rough when you're not especially when it's randomized. It can be very dangerous. Alright, he's taking the lower route yet again. And managing to avoid the Podoboos this time. And that troll laser got him yet again. Oof. But he still has the mushroom now, so... And immediately commentators cursed right there. Okay, so... He's small, but he still has it. He still has a chance. That was bad luck right there. That is a good question. We don't actually know at the moment. Now, Nightshifter, I am fairly certain he might know that jkoper has won. It mostly just depends on whether or not he's actively paying attention to the race room in the process. Yeah, the bottom route has access to a power-up, so if you need it, it gives you a little bit of safety. But you have to be very careful getting through it, though. Ooh, and he manages to dodge out of the way of the jump, so that's nice. Alright, 2 more jumps and he should be okay. Alright, there we go. Get your GGs out in the chat for Nightshifter. Alright, so he finishes with an official time of 51:25. And now we're going to go ahead and try to get them into the race chat. So stand by for that. So with them splitting, that puts... So, yeah, that's... Let's see. So with them splitting the races 1 each, that means that... one of them is 5-3? No. No, 3-5. 3-5, and the other is 4-4. And we have jkoper in the chat, in the call. GG's.
GG. I'm gonna see if he's coming in. I don't know if you've heard from him or not.
Let's...
Oh, maybe he had to run and take care of something. I don't know.
Maybe. But...
Yeah.
jkoper, let me tell you, you guys are gonna have to go back and watch this race, because I'm not even kidding. You guys changed leads probably like 5 or 6 times in the course of this race.
That's interesting.
It was honestly really interesting seeing how you guys did your routing and the small changes that happened, the small differences you guys made, and it just kept going back and forth. You guys changed leads like twice within the last 2 worlds alone.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't think that it didn't feel like anything too crazy happened, but I mean, That's just from my perspective, I guess. So, the first race was kind of close. I was entering World 8 as he finished. So, I think that in the first race, he probably got the right fort first in World 7, I'm guessing. That felt like
I
it took a
believe
lot of time.
And we have Nightshifter in the chat as well. GG's, man.
GG's. GG's, Cooper.
GG. So, was that a PB on the first one?
Close. I was about 15 seconds off.
Oh, okay.
My PB was a 30-12.
Yeah, that's...
But yeah, that first seed, I was just doing everything right. I even got the right fort out of all 3 forts and 6 right the first shot.
Yeah.
I could do no wrong that seed. And then in the second seed, I couldn't get out of my way to save my soul.
Nightshifter, I have to tell you, I told Coper, you guys are going to have to go back and watch the second race because you guys the lead changed like 6 or so different times. And it changed like twice in the last 2 worlds.
I think if I hadn't lost my hammer suit near the end, I would have been okay.
Yeah, I think had you not lost that hammer suit, you probably would have had it right there, and it probably would have been a difference of like maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Ooh.
It was
that was my story of my second seed. I just couldn't get out of my own way, and what didn't help is that partway through that second seed, something crashed on my computer.
We saw that you had some issues, but we didn't know what exactly it was. We thought maybe it was like a controller problem or something.
No. Something crashed on my computer. But I was able to continue playing the seed. But it was just... that's just frustrating.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So you don't even know what it was?
No, but whatever it was that crashed affected Discord, because when I was trying to get in after the second race, it wouldn't let me get... My Discord kept crashing, and it also affected live split because there was a couple times after I saw Cooper finish the race that I tried to go and forfeit, and it wouldn't let me forfeit. It wouldn't even let me do anything in live split.
Oh, interesting, because we did see probably after like about, I want to say about 15 minutes-ish, your timer disappeared off of the
because when I was trying to get things back, for some reason it took my timer's part and made it very tiny and put it up right at the top of the screen. And I just went, okay.
Sounds like the gremlins have gotten into the system again.
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
So, aside from technical issues, do you guys have any thoughts about the races, about the 2 seeds?
Yeah. Man, that first seed. The only death I had that really hurt was on Wendy, but 5-hit Wendy is just very rude, basically. So.
Oh, absolutely.
First seed, like I said, I could do no wrong. I had a couple bobbles in my movement. The only real mistake I made was late, where I took 1 death. But outside of that, I was just on fire that seed. And then, like I said, come seed 2, I felt like I started off well, but then after everything went kind of sideways, I just could never really regain my focus, and I started making stupid mistakes and just couldn't get out of my own way.
honestly, even with all of those issues, the fact that you guys managed to keep it so close the entire time, like, I don't think there was any more than like a half a world difference at most between you two.
Oh wow.
What does that mean? Nice coin play. In the second to last map.
I'm actually not entirely sure. See, and that was actually, now that does remind me though, that was one of the things that gave Koper the lead going into World 8. He ran into the Hammer brother that had the hammer before dealing with the fort.
Yeah.
So he was able to break the rock and skip through, and got a
like
little.
I eventually did, but
that's what Curry's talking about. Your coin play, you in 2-3 when you took the P switch to jump into the coins instead of like waiting it out. That caught up some time too.
Well, if I've got a tail going into 2-3, I love doing that strat. I feel it speeds up the level far quicker.
By turning bricks into coins. Oh, so the desert level where you're supposed to knock the shell back and forth at the end?
Yeah,
there's a P switch up in the air towards the end that if you fly up, hit it, you can jump across to a row of coins that have become bricks and then jump all the way to the end, just fall through coins to the pipe.
Interesting. Yeah, I gotta look into that sometime maybe.
It's one of those where like you generally would find it goofing around in casual play, but in a typical like speedrun strat, you would never run into it because it's so high up in the air. But it is like if you know where it's at, it is a pretty good way to save time and potentially avoid taking damage if you want to keep your power up as well.
Yeah, I think I remember in the tangential note, the Mario Mania guide or something. I think that had the maps for every Super Mario World level, and there was one piece which I found in the air under that wasn't in the guide. Otherwise, that one pretty much had every other thing that was up in the air available to, or it showed where they all were.
Now, one thing I was very happy that I got to show off at the end of the first seed was that fire kill I do on Bowser.
That was a very cool fire kill. Being able to... I forget that you can still bounce on his head, even though anywhere else will basically count as a hit.
Yeah, I hadn't practiced it since the change. So this week I went in and I made a save file and I took like 10 minutes figuring out, okay, I know I could do this before. How do I do this now? And I figured it out, got it down, and I was glad I could show it off at the end of the first seed.
And honestly, that's a good little skill set to keep track of and hold on to, because given the fact that it's a lot harder to actually get the hammer kill now, since you can't just duck under him and bam him, that can actually potentially give you a fair amount of time save, especially if you're running against someone else who's not very well adept at fire kill too. That can give you a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I've never actually killed Bowser with fire, I don't believe. I was lucky to have a hammer suit the second time. But I've gotten very close, I think, to kill him with fire, but then just got hit, so... yeah, might have to check that out. Yeah, there was some upsetting stuff. It didn't seem like there were a ton of difficult levels required in either seed, except we had to do 7F2 both times, I think.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there wasn't too much, nothing too silly. There were some levels that I skipped with the cloud, and I have no idea if they were difficult or not. I didn't look at them.
Same here. There was levels I just clouded and was just like, nope, gone, and don't want to know.
I think there was only one level that Nightshifter clouded that Coper didn't. I'm pretty sure everything else. I'm pretty sure every other level was one that you both played. Also, I like the fact that both of you immediately let Boss Bass go nom the second you saw 7-5.
No, having a second option, it was like I saw 7-5. I went, oh no, and then when I got there and saw Boss Bass, I was like, free meal, Boss Bass, come and get it.
Yeah, Boss Bass ate good. I believe between the two of you, I think he got to eat like 3 times.
But yeah, I was lucky that was at that junction in 6 where you could go either way, and if you give me a choice between Alcatraz and the 3.9 beta, I'll take the 3.9 beta every day.
Oh yeah. Oh, and according to our resident expert Dust Minion, he went back and looked through the levels that Coper double clouded in Grassland were 3.9 and 6.8, and then the item in the World 1 World 1 4 was just a mushroom.
Okay, so I didn't miss out on it. Okay.
Yeah. Man, that sequence with the Boss Bass. So I went into the beta level first, and I had a Fire Flower, and I shot the Boss Bass right away, and I was like, man, that's probably a mistake, because now he's going to spawn on the bottom, but I'm going to be ready for him, and I'm going to shoot him, and then he ate me immediately. And then I checked the other level, and it's 7-5 or whatever, and yeah, so just let him eat me. That's fine. I'll go back to the other level. And then I went back to the other level, and went down to the bottom right away. Didn't have any Boss Bass. Then I jumped on a Paragoomba, and that was an awful hitbox experience. Oh my god. Right there. Yeah, so I tied again, and then I made it through after that. But yeah, just 3 deaths in a row, basically.
Hopefully next year they'll add the fixed Paragoomba hitboxes to the randomizer setting, because those things are becoming evil.
Yes, they are.
But GG.
GG.
If I kept you out of the top bracket with this 1-1, I apologize. But
not your fault, Cooper. I should have played better in that second seed. That's all there is to it.
And your computer didn't do any favors either. But what can you do, I guess?
Yeah. But
if nothing else, there's always the Challenge Cup too, so...
Which, if that's where I end up, I will be going.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you there.
Maybe.
Alright, and so I guess, any final words?
Nope, thanks for the comps and everything, and I guess we'll see you in the brackets.
Yep.
Alright, and looking into the schedule for tomorrow, we actually have quite a few going on. The channels have not been finalized just yet for them, but let's see, at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, we have Vix Rider versus True Hyper Mario. And we also have Proa 007 versus Human Mustard.
Oh, that is the race of the week.
Oh, definitely. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we have Miniguy DP versus Marky Mark 679. And at 8:30, we have Tozzle versus Neomek. And then finally, at 9 p.m., we have myself versus Raikou Rider. So we have a whopping 5 matches scheduled for tomorrow.
It's gonna be a very, very busy Wednesday in Super Mario Brothers 3.
Definitely. So, with that said, everyone, thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next races. Have a great night, everybody.